Is there a world in which a man says, you know what, actually, she makes more money than I do, and I take care of home, and that is what works for our relationship? This is a reality.
This is funny. Joseph, welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
It's no longer a man's world, is what this woman says. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
And as we seek to dissect toxic masculinity, as we see the rise of women in corporate spaces and entrepreneurship, we see a transition of power that's taken place.
Yes.
And in the midst of that transition of power, I think that men can often wonder, where do I fit in this transition? If I'm no longer the alpha male, if it's no longer the man's world, but it is our world, where do I fit? I think the onus is on the man to consider, how have messages about power, messages about relationships framed a paradigm that makes him feel that the only way he can be powerful is if he is making a certain amount of money, or if he is progressing further than a woman is. Is there a world in which a man says, you know what, actually, she makes more money than I do, and I take care of home, and that is what works for our relationship? This is a reality.
This is funny. This is funny. Let me explain why. The last example she gave right there. I work, I pay the bills, and he takes care of the home. It reminds me of the soft guy era movement, which I want to be clear here that you guys know that I approach relationships from a more traditional standpoint, where a man assumes the majority of responsibility when it comes to finances. Now, people who, they're not listening, right? They hear that. They think to themselves, oh, okay, so he's a millionaire. No. He takes on the majority. That could be a 60-40 split. That could be an 80-20 split. Shit, he could pay all the bills, or it could be a 60-40 split. But there's also another side of this where a man takes responsibility, and that's in assuming leadership of the family. Now, of course, this only works when you have a woman who wants to be led and can be led. Talking about a woman who finds joy in submitting to her man. In those type of situations, very rarely, but it does happen, women can even do the 50-50 split type situation, but still honor their husband as the head of the home. Very rare, very rare. And yes, the coffee here for men who are wondering is the more money you make, it is in a woman's nature to allow a little bit more power. And that's exactly what it is. It's giving up a little bit of power. It's saying, hey, I trust you to make decisions in certain areas. It doesn't mean that you are some type of a tyrant. But I just wanted to explain my approach on how I value relationships and my own relationship. And other men here who also want the same thing. Now, she describes something there that I think is hilarious. She says men are going to have to stay at home, take care of the house, and realize it's their job to do that now while we go out and work. They're going to have to suffer that burden. And is that what you see out here, bro? Is that really what you see out here? No, it's not. You know, it's not what you see. This is bullshit. As most women have made more money in our society, all that's happened are their expectations have just become ridiculous. Hypergamy still exists. You can change a woman's pockets, but you cannot change a woman's nature. Hypergamy will always exist in women, right? Women's desire to want to marry a man who they find economically attractive. So again, this idea that men are refusing to accept to be stay-at-home husbands, I think that's funny because I think there are a bunch of guys out here who'd actually take her up on that offer. A lot of guys out here would take her up on that offer. Hang out at home. The problem is, are you going to complain the whole time that you're the breadwinner? That's the issue. I don't know this woman personally, but I see the way she's dressed. I see the book in the background with her face on it. I'll be shocked if she was married. But even if she was, and had a stay-at-home husband, she would be an exception to the rule and wouldn't make the rule. And just because I'm here talking about it, I'm almost motivated to go and actually see if this chick is actually married. Because I bet you, if you ask her what she's looking for, out of her mouth, you're saying it doesn't matter what he does. He could be a stay-at-home husband like she's saying here in this video, but the men who she's attracted to and going after probably look a whole lot different. Let me see here. I'm looking. I'm trying to see where I found this video in the first place. Hold on. All right, I found her page here, and it says, okay, she is married. So she's married. And so, here's the problem, right? This dynamic that she's talking about right now, because her bio says, I love Jesus. My husband is my best friend. And there are definitely women out here who out-earn their husband. Let me not assume she's in that situation. But the way that she's talking, I don't know. They seem like a pretty successful couple. I mean, he seems pretty successful himself. We're talking about he's an entrepreneur, founder of like 3 businesses here. And this is great and all, but I think this idea that men have to accept the role of being the stay-at-home dad while women are out here conquering the world, and she makes all the money while he stays at home, is obviously not what we see here that she's doing. She's not doing this. Based on what I see here, her husband being a best-selling author, entrepreneur, founder. I see he's like tagged like 3 things here. Investor. I'm not trying to be all up in the man's pockets, but I'm just saying, guys, pay attention to the actions and not the words. Hypergamy is all around us. She doesn't want that thing that she's saying, this new era of women running the world and men being a stay-at-home dad while women work. She doesn't want that. And most modern women today do not want that. In fact, they don't even see value in a marriage if a man cannot contribute significantly monetarily, or that man isn't somewhat economically attractive. Just got some comments here in response to what she said. First comment here says, we cannot say this is working for Black women when they are the least married demographic in America. Being politically correct is not helping the Black community. Somebody else here added, as soon as I hear toxic masculinity, I tune out. Here's another woman who says, in full transparency, as a woman, I run far from this ideology. I am overwhelmed with the idea of toxic masculinity. When will our Black women wake up and understand the fight for equality and feminism was never our fight to begin with? The idea that women in power sounds like a ploy to further push down the man. I'm sorry, but this is not my reality. If God is a man and God man is his image, then why are we so obsessed with women in leadership? Deep sigh. All right, so on a spiritual tip, I just realized that she actually is like a Christian woman. And as somebody who is a Christian woman, I'm surprised she read the Bible and looked at that and said, the man should take the leadership role within the household as far as finances. Now, guys, please follow me here. There are plenty of women out here who by circumstance end up being the breadwinner. In most cases, these women don't want to be in that position. If their men could take over that situation, they would like their men to, and those men would want to be in that situation, especially if those women have children. Somebody else here says, Black men do not listen to this. Find a woman, a Black woman, somewhere that respects your leadership as a man and a leader. Here's somebody else who says, if a man has to find out where he fits, he does not belong. Somebody else who says, this is so cringe. Does she read the Bible? We got another comment here that says, notice she didn't say anything about the blue collar jobs. That's a pretty good comment, because you have a lot of feminist rhetoric that'll talk about women taking over and basically being able to do the same thing that men do. But if you pay close attention, they want the office jobs. They want the CEO jobs. They don't want to be in the trenches. They don't want to work the sewers. They don't want to be glazers. They don't want to stand on top of skyscrapers. Somebody else here says, I've been waiting for this comment. Okay, women breadwinners, build this building, lay this concrete, get in the line and become a lines woman and work this electricity. Enroll in the armed forces more. Create all women police forces and all women security teams. I'm not saying women aren't evolving, But equating making more money and being more educated has nothing to do with being a man. Congratulations, women. Just know men are not the ones complaining. Men will always find their place. It's just not with today's American women that think this way. Here's another person who says, what in the Jezebel spirit is this? And our final comment here says, no such thing as toxic masculinity. Men always had a place in society because we literally built society. Laws, infrastructures, etc. Entrepreneurs, this commenter asks, majority of these businesses, in quotation marks, and I'm assuming he's talking about businesses that women own, are cosmetic, aesthetic based, like lashes, waist trainers, masseuse, hair, nails, etc. Nothing too life-changing, just the honest truth. It is very true. Yes. Listen, guys, as always, I'm curious to know, what do you think? Leave your comments down below. As always, I appreciate you checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.